If you're a business owner and generating leads, but you're not actively nurturing them before the first call, you're leaving so much money on the table, pipeline, and trust on the table. Most businesses typically wait until the first call to start building some credibility, but by then, it's honestly already too late. The system I'm about to show you has helped us cut the no-show rate by over 30%, added at least $30,000 to our pipeline in the last 30 days, and get prospects excited to show up to the call already pre-sold on what's working with us, all without sending a single manual email. And the best part is that it is fully automated, no coding needed, Airtable, Make.com, OpenAI, that's it. And by the end of the video, I'm going to show you how exactly to build this pre-nurture sequence or system for yourself, and how exactly you can get the exact Airtable base and Make.com templates for yourself and launch it instantly. So let's get right into it. So let's first go over what is the need for this system, right? It is essentially a pre-nurture system that allows us to transform our leads, where we need to think about it, right? Leads coming in, whether hot or cold or warm, they have a journey. Just like a client journey, there's a journey where a lead needs to become a buyer. And the entire purpose of the system is to transform our leads into ready-made buyers before the first call. This exact system is what we deploy within our own business and within every single client who we work with on the sales end of things, where it reduces the no-show, builds trust, and increases your conversion rates through intelligent, personalized lead engagement. And a simple example of the system is where maybe you are already using some type of an email or calendar sequencing tool, maybe using Calendly, using cal.com. And even though the app promises that they're going to send reminders to your clients or leads on the other end, this is what it actually looks like on their end. And as you can see, it's incredibly ugly, it's generic, there's no value we're providing. Where we really need to think about it strategically. Every single touch point we have with the lead before they hop on a sales call with us or the closer, it is an opportunity for us to educate them about our offer, excite them, build social proof, give them case studies, and get them excited really to be on the call. Make it as personalized as possible. However, when we're sending us these basic, this is what we used to do ourselves, as you can see, the 25th of March, and this is just around when we actually pivoted to having completely personalized email sequencing systems, where, as you can see, we would even send them a little VSL, as you can see, before the call to get, please watch the short video beforehand. It'll give us full context of what we'll cover and how we can help you. And now what we have is, as you can see over here, is we're still reminding them that, hey, this is our call on the 29th, and I just wanted to send something over ahead of it, quick walkthrough that we put together showing how business owners are navigating this massive shift in automations and AI right now. It breaks down what is working, and here's a video. And these videos are these videos are incredibly personalized and not exactly like for per person, but this really encapsulates what me and my business partner have really learned over the past couple months working with a variety of businesses, all the way from startups to mid-market to upper market. And as you can see, if we come over here, this is another example, and it almost seems like it's handwritten, right? And you can change it. This is completely up to you how you want to change it, right? Once you set the template and you just set up the system on the back end, it's really about set and forget. So let's go right into it. As we can see, number one, before I go into the system, I really want to drill into or really emphasize why such simple systems are incredibly valuable. So number one, no-shows. So being a business owner myself and having worked with so many businesses, no-shows, it kills your pipeline health. When 20% of your book calls, they vanish, they do not reply to you, and they just do not turn up on the call. Your revenue predictability, which you set up, and you saw like, oh, look at our pipeline, we have all these book calls. You're already anticipating, right? How much are you going to be hitting? Are you going to have an all-time month? And then it generally suffers dramatically, and that's the worst feeling ever. Right? When you have these no-shows and then 2 weeks from now on, you look at your revenue, you look at your pipeline, and you're like, oh shit, where did all that money go? Right? And then cold leads, this is as simple as it is. Cold leads do not convert. In today's world, we need to be making extra effort to engage with our leads. It's as simple as that. Social media is everywhere. Any tool, the same system I'm talking about, a million different people are talking about, whether it be SaaS, e-com, AI automations, drop shipping, any business model in the world. There are many people creating content about it, and there are many people also at the same time absorbing and consuming that content. So you need to stand out, and the best way to stand out is having a hyper personalized interaction with your client. So as you can see, without proper warming, your prospects arrive confused, disinterested, and wasting valuable sale asset resources. It wastes your time, number one, right? It takes up a slot on your book calendar where someone else could have booked in that calendar where you do not know. Maybe they were interested, but they saw it booked and they just moved on with the day. And as the most common thing that happens, bad first impressions, the lower the value. I've been on this myself on the other end, and I think we all understand that when your sales call starts as, so what do you guys do again? That's the worst feeling again. Because on a sales call, you only have 30 minutes, at least that's on our sales calls, but you only have 30 minutes to really make something happen over here. And to make something happen, it means having a sales conversation, not an educational call. That is the entire point of such resources, these pre-value assets basically, where you're educating them on the offer, who you are, who have you worked with, right? And you're already fighting an uphill battle because you're basically spending the first 15 to 20 minutes educating them. Then when you do actually get into the sales conversation, talk about pricing, dig into their pain, talk about what is the goal they're actually trying to get to, right? And most companies, we've seen it ourselves, having worked with so many businesses, they all do not have any sort of these systems built in. And they wait until the call itself to start building some credibility. And by then it's often too late because like we said, you only have 30 minutes. You have one 30-minute block of time to build an impression and do something. And if you're just going to spend those 30 minutes basically educating the client about what you do, there's no urgency on the client's end of things. They're just going to be like, of course, they're going to say like, oh, okay, I'll look into it. And well, they're going to dip. They're never going to come back, right? And that is why we need to pre-nurture them. It represents a really, really critical missed opportunity, and this is what the system is created to do. So just to show you before anyone gets too bored, this is what I'm going to go over, and it's a simple system, but there's a lot of nuance actually involved with Airtable formulas here, and I'm going to get into how exactly you do that and common mistakes to avoid. Number one, I already showed you, generic calendar reminders. If you're relying on cal.com, Calendly automated reminders, it's a great start, right? If you're a startup and you're just getting your foot off the ground, it's awesome. However, once you have your sales process figured out, you're getting leads coming in, pivot away from it instantly. You do not want to be using any type of booking page reminders because number one, it reduces your brand perception, right? Even though cal.com is branded, as you can see, it doesn't feel personal. It looks incredibly ugly. As we can see, using automated templates, communications that immediately signal mass produced to your prospects. And it also delays building credibility. There's such a big opportunity here. Whereas we can see through these templates that I'm about to show you, where we're actually using HTML to make the email look even sexier, basically. To make it look so clean and nice with bullet points, hyperlinks. You're missing a big opportunity to build some valuable credibility with your clients and demonstrate expertise. Where if you have case studies, you want to be showing them to your clients, right? These approaches, they feel impersonal, they reduce the trust, and before you even had a chance to build it, and you just position yourself as another commodity, another vendor, rather than a trusted advisor, an expert in the space. So let's see over here how the system works on a high level. So number one, I really want to emphasize that this system is not there to remind leads. We're not just taking a lead over here and just bombarding them with, typical, as you can see, the typical, oh, please, 24-hour reminder, 48 reminders. We're pre-selling them with valuable assets. It could be YouTube videos. It could be case studies. It could just be you talking about your experiences with another client. If it's video, it's amazing. You can even make it feel like a newsletter. I've tried that myself a couple of times. It's totally up to you. But again, we're pre-selling them before the call even begins, creating anticipation, excitement, and establishing authority. So now when they basically come into the call, this is generally them. They're excited as hell, and I've seen this myself. I was actually trying to pull up some past emails, but my inbox is so flooded. Maybe I should get Manus AI or something to find me emails, but I've seen so many examples. The moment I've deployed the system, we would have clients coming back to us. Before the call even started, they would just reply to the email saying, wow, this is amazing. I know. And the best part about it is, now they would tell us, I know exactly what I want to talk about. Thank you for sending me this resource. And it generally closed our sales cycle time so much. And we just had an all-time month with the business, the agency, me and my partner. So that is the true value of the system. As you can see, the flow really goes from the lead books in a call, where as you can see a standard booking page, you can use anything you want. We capture it in our CRM. It is compatible. We have created the system in Salesforce and HubSpot. We've used all types of tools at this point. The example in this case is using Airtable because it's clean and simple, and we use it ourselves for CRM. And then there's a smart nurture sequence. AI personalized communication delivers value precisely at timed intervals. And the prospect, this is the most important part about it. The prospect is informed. He's engaged, he or she, and he's pre-sold on your expertise and solution. So let's get right into the system actually. So as we can see over here, we have a CRM where we have a couple of leads. This is pretty similar in example to the follow-up system I created. However, this is a different base. So we have the leads names, we have the meeting links, and we have the pipeline stage, as we can see. So now I'm going to show how exactly this system works, and I've actually created a different grid over here, a different view basically. And as you can see, I've for clarity purposes and to make this as simple as possible to show how exactly the Airtable formulas are working. As you can see, Dana Cho over here, we'll be testing him with a 2-day reminder. Jamie Brock over here, we'll be testing him with a 1-day reminder, and Priya Malhotra, we'll be testing this person with a 15-day reminder. So they're made up names, they're made up people, they're not people from a real CRM. Okay, so yes, the way the system works is right now it's going to be working 48 hours before the call, 24 hours before the call, and 2 minutes. So basically 2 days before the call, 1 day before the call. Okay, so that was really bad. 1 day before the call, and 15 minutes before the call, right? And you can customize this exactly how you want through the formulas I'm just about to show you. So over here, as you can see, so let's delete this once again, and let's set in the call for the 30th, and let's make it exactly 4 p.m. for instance, to make it a little bit simpler. So as you can see, we have a 15-minute formula that basically sets it 15 minutes before the call. And then as you can see, the 1 day one, that is 24 hours, it sets it on the same time, 4 p.m. However, it is now, instead of the 30th, it is the 29th. And which we have over here, as we can see, we have on the 28th, which is the 2-day reminder. So if a person is coming on the 30th, right, for a call, they're basically going to be sent a reminder 2 days before on the 28th. They're going to be sent a reminder 1 day before and they're going to be sent a reminder on the 30th. But this one is going to be 15 minutes before the call. And guys, I am pretty sorry for it. I think I should use a different tool. This one is really difficult to just start writing things with, but it does help me get the point across. So as we can see, so let's open this formula first. As you can see, it's incredibly simple. Let me zoom in a little bit. So what we have over here is if the booking date, exists, that is what it means essentially. Date add booking date minus 15 minutes. So if we see over here, what the booking date is, date add time date, count and unit. So it adds a count to determine the units to date time. So as you can see in this example, we have a date. The deadline is just a variable for the date, minus 2 weeks, which means it would be minus 2 weeks. And let me show you in an example. So let's say instead of minutes, we make this days. So if we see over here, let's confirm the change. And as you can see now, the thing has gone from 30 to 15. That is it, right? So you can change it like that. So that is exactly the same logic. So let me change this back to minutes. So as you can see now, this is the 15-minute one. The 1 day time is basically the same thing, but just minus 1 days. You can make this minus 24 and you can make this hours as well. And that should return the exact same thing. As we can see, it does return the exact same thing. And that is why we use Airtable in this case, because it's just so clean and it's so intuitive and simple to use, right? You just, if this is your first time using Airtable, probably just, practice it once or twice, and before you know it, the more you expose yourself to it, you'll get the hang of it. Even I used to find it pretty confusing at first, but it's just really a repetition and just looking at it honestly a couple of times. And yes, as you can see at 5:22, and right now it is 5:23, just right now I received this email, excited for the call, blah, 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 watch the breakdown. If we click on the breakdown as well, you can see it as an actual video that we have. And you can join the call as well, where right now it's just a dummy link for. So let's go back to the system, and I really now want to show how the system, but as you can see now, 2-day reminder is checklisted. It means that we're not going to have false positives, because this is one of the criteria to ensure that we do not, it needs to be basically checked off essentially for the email to trigger. Otherwise it's not going to send it. So let's come back over here and let's take a look at the formula. So the way the formula works right now is we can see and not 15-day reminder. So 15-day reminder is this checklist, as you can see over here. So it means basically saying that this thing should not be true. It should not be checklisted. If it is checklisted like this condition fails. That is how it works. So right now it's empty, so that's a good thing. It's going to fulfill. And then we have the absolute value of the date and time difference. So the date and time difference, guys, is simply a formula to calculate the difference between two dates. Where in this case, we're doing now, which is the current time, which is an Airtable formula. It just gives us the exact current moment in time, right? And the 15-minute time and date, where if we close this and if we come here, so what we're doing, guys, is we're comparing. So I know it's a little bit too small, but if you see this formula basically is linked to this one and it is linked to this checklist at the same time. This is what it's doing. It is taking a look at this current time that we have and it is comparing it to now to see, is it close right now, the time, the difference between now and this, the fixed, 15-minute deadline or the 15-minute time period, that buffer. If it is within that period, then it is a yes. And this thing obviously is just to track false positives. I hope that makes sense. So let me zoom in a little bit more. So let's take a look at the formula once again. So as you can see, we're seeing not 15-day reminder, not 15-day reminder, as we can see. So the criteria for this once again is it cannot be checklisted. It needs to be empty basically. And the difference between the now time and the date that we had over there, as it's hidden right now, but the 15-minute fixed time is less than 15 minutes. So if it is, return true. If it is not, then return false. Simple. And to really make sense of it, where if I test the system now, let's say I set this once again to the 29th of April, which is 2 days, which means the 48-hour email should be triggering. It should be returning a 1. As you can see, it returns a 0. And the reason it returns a 0, guys, is because this is checklisted, as you can see, the 2-day reminder over here. As simple as that. Why? Because it fails this condition. This thing is returning a true. So if I remove this checklist now, which means, as you can see, it becomes a 1. And that's going to trigger the automation. It's going to send once again an email. So now let's get into the actual automation, which is, as you can see, it is simple. You have to come to Airtable, you come to the automations and it is simple as you can see the CRM. When a record matches the condition, if 15 minutes is equal to 1 or 1 day reminder is equal to 1 or 2-day reminder is equal to 1, then is when it actually triggers, as you can see through these. And then what we do is we simply run a script. As you can see, we put in the webhook URL and we put in the record ID. Always remember the record ID needs to be mentioned over here, and ensure that the webhook you are putting is in fact copied, is the actual webhook URL. So in this case, you can see I just copied it and it is a match. You always need to make sure of that, otherwise you're just going to be waiting for a response to be triggering. So let's discard the changes. So let's take a look at what the workflow looks like now. So what we do is, number one, we watch responses, right? And then what we do is we get the actual record, as we can see over here. So let's give this open. As you can see, is the exact table, CRM, lead nurturing. We get the record ID over here. And what we do then is, so in my email templates, so guys, this is where you can really have full flexibility. Depending on your business, you just use AI to fill in the blanks basically. The biggest learning lesson and something I couldn't recommend enough is do not use AI to write your entire emails. Write templates basically and just fill in the blanks with AI. So as you can see in our case, what we're using AI to do is to get the date and the first name. It's simple. It's like most of my prompts you've seen. You are a first name extractor and date formatter. That is all it does. So it basically gets the date from Airtable for the booking date. It cleans it up with the format and it gets the first name. So as you can see, your role is to extract both the first name and the booking date from the given format and return it in JSON. First name, extract only the first word from the first name, properly capitalize it. Even if the input is all lowercase or uppercase, booking date, format the booking date, blah, blah, blah. So, and then what we do is we kind of train it basically. We give it some guiding reference. We use the user assistant prompt, So we give it examples, So full name is Ben Shapiro, booking date. So this is what Airtable returns to us. So because if we click into this, you can see that Airtable, if you click, you can see Airtable over here returns, with the time as well. We don't want the time because that looks a little bit automated. At least that's what I feel. So, what I put is first name Ben and call date is April 28, 2025. And, we give it a couple more examples of how it looks like over here. And then we basically, finally, we ended with the user input, full name and the lead name over here. And then what we do again, guys, super important, always return it, your response format in JSON object, parse, yes. And, just put the temperature a little bit lower. This is what I find to be the sweet spot. I'm using O3 Mini. I think there's a new one, 4.1 Nano. I saw it on clay.com. I don't think it's a make. Yeah, but 4.1 Nano is pretty cool. It's really cheap as well. So then what we do, guys, is we put a router basically. So as you can see, the router, we have 3 routers here, as we can see. We have one for this. So this is the 15-minute one. This is the 1-day email reminder. And this is the 2-day email reminder over here. And as you can see, we just use a router over here. So if email reminder equals 1. So as we can see, it is, as we can see, and we look into this, we can see this one is not being returned anything because it's false. So it's a 0. So nothing being returned. So if it is in fact equal to 1, then only it's going to go through this workflow where, if you remember in Airtable, the criteria for starting the webhook trigger is basically the 15-day reminder, this thing, or this thing needs to be equal to 1. And how do we do that? When this criteria, either of these formulas return true, right? So as we can see, and if we come back over here, that's what we do over here for the 1-day reminder. We simply just put in the 1-day variable. As you can see, we have this over here. It is not returning anything. That is why it's not. And as we can see, if we come over here, we have the 2-day reminder, where in this case, yes, the 2-day reminder was a 1, and that is why it went through this specific router. So now let's take a look at the emails, because I think this is actually really valuable on how do you actually create really good emails without having to, subscribe to ConvertKit, Klaviyo, or, one of the email marketing tools, which you do not need to do for something this simple. So as you can see, we use HTML. Because you have 2 options, right? You have plain text. Plain text is when it just literally looks like you typed it into Google. But HTML is when you actually start the magic. Because if you come back to this email, you can see it is italicized over here. We have a bullet point list. You have a video breakdown, which is a hyperlink. And if you notice, this thing is bolded over here, right? This hyperlink over here, it's bolded. And then we have a subtle reminder that here's a link for the call as well. So the way we do it actually, guys, is as you can see, I'm actually going to have this exact template over here. So you can just, copy it, you can ask ChatGPT as well. So let me show you on a high level. I'll just tell you exactly what this does. So as you can see, don't get overwhelmed by this. We're essentially, as you can see, we're giving it a specific font family to make it look nicer, right? I'm using this is the fonts that I personally like. I don't want it to be too overwhelming on the other end. So you don't want to use something that is not typically seen on an email, especially like a blank white canvas. You can tell the font size, the color, the line height. And if we actually copy paste this, you can see that we're actually using paragraph elements. Paragraph means it breaks it up. We're leaving lines in the middle. EM means it's, I think, italicized, I believe. Yes. And if you come over here, I actually just use this over here, an HTML to text converter. Convert HTML to text. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. It removed the paragraphs, all those headers basically. And you can see, hey, first name, there's a blank. Just thinking about this, a blank. And here's the video, watch it here. Of course, it's not going to embed the hyperlink over there. And as you can see, we actually embed the exact URL, strong. So strong is what makes it bold over here. As you can see, it's bolded, right? And as you can see, href, once again, we put in a link and the target is join the call, where in this case, we're inserting the meeting link from the Airtable base. So if you come back to the Airtable base, you can see that we have these over here. So this is exactly how it works. And then what we do is we go into Airtable and we basically check off the checkbox. As you remember, that is the most important thing. You can see 1 day daily reminder. Yes, this is absolutely crucial, guys. If you miss this, you're going to have false positives and this thing is going to keep triggering all the time. It is highly likely it might. So you want to be updating the first day reminders for sure. That is really, really important. And if you give this a close now, and let me just clean it up. Yep. So let's give it a quick test run and before I close off the video. So if you come over here, booking dates. So let's set Dana Cho for 29th. So this one should trigger, you know, the 2-day email. This should trigger this one. And let's set for this one, let's set this one to be 6 o'clock, or let's make it 5:45. So I think that should be a viable time, you know, for triggering the, yeah. So if we come over here, as you can see, super important, guys, the 15-minute reminder has become 1 over here. The 1-day reminder has become now, did you see it was 1 before and now it became 0. Why did it become 0? Because, well, the checkbox got checked off. It means the automation worked in the background. And if you see, everything has become 0 now. And that means that the system actually worked because it is supposed to become 0 once the email is sent out. So it doesn't trigger false positives. And if I come back to my email inbox, you can see I got 1 email over here. I got another email over here. And yes, I got Jamie over here, as we can see. So yes, guys, this is how the system works on a high level. And, you know, this is the exact template that is, you know, I'm going to provide it. And, you know, just to once again drill into the impact, this is the exact system we used for ourselves in the past month when we've been having a ridiculous influx of clients and keeping track of them. And, you know, just ensuring that our sales cycle length decreases significantly. So this is real numbers. I was actually I was just looking into our CRM and I was just manually calculating it. Our pre-call engagement. Also, the reply rate has been immense, guys. People, our clients or prospects, they literally watch these videos and as I said in the beginning, they literally reply back to us saying, wow, this is amazing. I'm so excited to get on call. And I wish I could pull up these screenshots. Maybe I should for the next time and prepare better. And our sales velocity, which is essentially the sales cycle length. We have been closing significantly more. We haven't gotten a closer. It's still just me and my partner. We've been closing. We've had an all-time month this month and it's been really, really good. And next month, I'm real confident that we can go at least 20-30% higher in terms of revenue. So these metrics are directly, let me just make it a different color actually, it's too dark. Yeah, so this is the app I use. If you guys have any recommendations to use something better, let me know. But yeah, it improved our forecasting accuracy because like I said, as a business owner, you see these leads coming in, you look at the profile of the company, oh, they're making more than 100 million. Of course, we can do something with them. We can engage with them in some shape or form and then they ghost you. There are no shows. And these are the kind of systems that drive real revenue impact. This is what we implement in our end-to-end sales infrastructures with all of our clients where we're working on the sales end of things. And, you know, the higher sales team productivity and an increased revenue without additional lead gen costs, guys. This is really cheap as well. So, you know, the customer experience, these are some examples of the messages or a high level example that I've gotten. As you can see, it creates a powerful first impression that separates you from your competitors, sets the stage for more productive sales conversations. And the core philosophy, once again, we want to keep it human, guys. If you saw the message templates I have, they're very humanized. And once again, guys, we're providing real value. If you're a business owner, you have, you know, case studies, you have valuable lead magnets, you want to be dropping them in. You don't just want to send generic reminders. You know, they're humans on the other end of the sides. Yes, you want to convert them, you want to work with them, but they're humans as well. And you want to provide them with valuable insights, make them understand why is your offer so good? Why does this stand out in the market? Right? And then you set the frame as well. You establish your expertise, your process. You separate yourself from just being a commodity or a vendor to someone who's truly an expert in the space. And guys, super critical, you do not want to be sending your emails from your no reply domains like cal.com, Calendly or whatsoever. We send it from our personal emails and that is how we directly engage with our prospects, then have a system that gets it directly into our CRM, crafts up replies, even though like I said, you don't want AI to write all of your emails. That's lazy and you're not going to actually get any value out of it. You're just going to scare off your clients by sending AI gen emails, essentially, you know. And as we can see, In terms of the tool cost, it's incredibly cheap, guys. Email content writing, where I wouldn't even say it's email content writing, it's more of fill in the blanks. You use OpenAI. That was just an example I showed. You can already, if based on your call transcript, sorry, not the call transcript, the booking page, whatever information you get about them, the company, you can get all types of insights and fill in the blanks basically, right? Approximate cost, you just need to put in your API tokens, $2 a month. CRM, okay, so for Airtable, you need the Teams plan, guys. If you want this to be an instantaneous webhook response, you need to get the $24 plan. Yep, you need to be getting the Teams plan. In terms of automation logic or just make.com, I would recommend the $10 plan. You can go free, but then you only get 1,000 operations. And if you're really trying to scale your business, you would want at least 10,000 operations, and as we can see, in order to get started today, I'm going to link the exact Airtable page below, the make.com templates. And what I would really recommend is understand the formulas, understand the templates, the psychology, guys. This is copywriting at a high level. You don't just copy paste my messages, copy paste what makes the sense for you. This is how I like to speak with my people. And you want to create some type of messaging template that represents you, your business, and your vision. Right? And even I'm probably going to change my own templates in like 5 days, or probably just, A/B test them with a couple of other things. So yeah, set up the Airtable base, understand the formulas, guys. The formulas is where the magic happens. You can make 10 of these if you want. Create your content templates, develop your messaging, have value assets. That's really important, guys. If you do not have value assets, you can definitely just send a really valuable email, but at least try to record some videos of yourself, case studies, of you just talking to the camera to develop that personalized relationship, right? Test this logic first on yourself. Do not instantly implement the system with clients. Test it on yourself for a couple of days at least. See that it's triggering the right way, it's not doing false positives, and then put it on the client facing, on the lead facing side. The last thing you want is your leads to be getting, broken emails or automated emails that are repetitive or just triggering off at the wrong moments. Right? And then test and optimize, guys, always collect the data and keep improving your system. This is a simple flow. And this is just the start of it. You want to keep improving your systems, right? And finally, remember, lead nurturing happens before the meeting. Yes, I always like to read this myself as well, or just drill it into my own head. Personalized automations wins over mass reminders and simple systems, guys. Massive leverage. Guys, we have scaled so many businesses at this point and our own business using these systems, end-to-end infrastructures. And I can promise you it's simple systems that work in the end, right? The complicated stuff is good, but that's really high level. Most businesses do not even need that. The levels of data silos, and that is level 5, the kind of systems you're seeing online, you're trying to recreate. If you just focus on the basics and really learn how to leverage them and optimize them and make it one big infrastructure. So now you're not just doing lead nurturing, you're doing follow-ups, you're doing automated prospect researching, you're converting your sales insights, your sales call insights into marketing insights, right? You're doing lead gen. You're doing multi-channel or omni-channel, which people like to call. I think that sounds fancier. I guess even I'll start using it on LinkedIn. But omni-channel outbound sequences on LinkedIn, on email. You're doing, high intent workflow triggers based on, job openings. If someone visits your website, if someone, likes a post, or if someone engages, or your ICP, or essentially a competitor where in your business, they have their own social profiles as well. They're a fantastic place to be getting leads from, because you know that your ICP is sitting over there, and then nurture them, send them instantly an outbound sequence on evergreen campaign. There are unlimited possibilities, and I want to show all of it eventually. But yes, this is a cool system, and I'm going to be linking the exact tools here and below. And yes, if you're an automation enthusiast, this is a great starting point. You know how to build systems. And if you're a business owner and you find this video intriguing, this is exactly the type of systems we have created for over 50 businesses at this point. End-to-end growth infrastructures. This is just one piece out of probably 50 different systems that are working in tandem to essentially not just automate, but optimize your entire sales funnel, all the way from lead gen to prospecting to closing them, and then using, once you close them as well, the client acquisition, having the onboarding on point, the customer journey, taking all those insights and then putting it into your marketing team by generating content out of that, content ideas, and then creating content that is working so hard in the background to ensure that your ICP, your clients, your prospects out there are nurturing themselves by consuming right content that you're not just throwing into the air for vanity purposes, but rather it is content that comes directly from the objections you get on your sales calls. So yeah, I can keep rambling on and on, but there's a call. There's a call in the description to book in a discovery call if you would like to. And either way, guys, hope you found this video enjoyable and valuable. Definitely go create this for yourself, and cheers.